Tutalin ka na ako. All right. Kasama po natin today ang ating kapsa. Talagang just when I thought Harry Roque was hard to pin down, biglang nalaman ko mas harder to pin down itong kasama natin. Last time I check, so kung Singson ka, and then di ba, so now you're related na to Kitty? Kasi di ba si Kitty ang dinidate na ngayon isang Singson din? Is that why mahirap kang hanapin, Dino? Dahil hindi ka lang solid north, solid south ka na rin at once,
Ang
brother. So
hirap,
yan.
no? Ang hirap, ang hirap. Siguro sa lahat ng pinaka joke na binigay sa akin, yan yung pinakamalaking joke na all of a sudden, in-laws ko na yung mga Duterte. Pero kung sakali nagkatuluyan, yes, I have to confirm that they will be my some sort of cousins-in-laws. And medyo delix yun, di ba? Ang hirap. Oh my goodness.
Did you see that coming? Ano, magkaroon ba ka na yung wake and bake? Wala
Mag-a-appear kami. Kamusta naman yung mga
uh,
pinakulong mong nakulong mong lolo?
ayan tayo.
Ay, tatay pala, tatay.
Ay nako, ay nako. Sige brother, parang mukhang hindi ka yata komportable pag-usapan si Kitty But balikan natin si Kitty. Mag-break muna tayo kay Kitty ng konti, although we're wishing her the best dun sa bago niyang love life kung totoo man yan. Balikan natin ito si the other Duterte who has been in the news over the past few days. Hindi ko na parang parati victim sila, no? Mga Duterte parating pinopolitika, parati silang kawawa, parati silang biktima. So what was your read dun sa CCTV footage na lumabas? Kasi ayon kay kaibigan natin si Banat Pai, ang nangyari daw dyan is interesting ito version. Ang nangyari dyan is yung isang individual was forcing certain women into on compromising unfortunate situation. So, etong si Pulong daw ay lumabas para protektahan ang itong mga ating mga kababaihan. Yun ang latest version ng nakita ko from the other side of the universe. Although there was the SMNI version also. But what is your read? What is the legal read dito sa pulong situation bago tayo babalik kay Kitty at saka yung cousin mo sa Simpson family?
Well, very, I don't know, very important to point out na even in the statement of Pulong, inamin niya na nangyari ito. Ang sabi niya, medyo matagal na ito, isang buwan na bata, ilang, how many weeks ago na ito, sabi niya, at iniiwan niya na lang yung matter sa people of Davao, no? Kumbaga, walang denial that in fact it happened. Ang sabi niya, ipapa-authenticate niya raw yung video, pero there was no denial whatsoever na nangyari yon, no? So, importante na nakikita natin na based on at least the initial reaction of Polong, mukhang totoo na nangyari, di ba? As to what would be the reason, ibang tanong yan, di ba? Ang sabi niya, ang rason daw, ang sabi dun sa complete affidavit na final doon sa police, dahil daw hindi nabigyan yung bodyguard niya, para ganyan, di ba? Ng babae, at nabigyan pa raw iba, di ba? Medyo kadiri yung motivation based on that, no? Ang sabi ni Polong, sabi ni Banatbay, kasi nililigtas niya raw yung babae, di ba, doon sa compromising situation. Even following that reasoning, alam niyo po, si Polong, hindi naman siya korte, eh. Di ba? He cannot put the law into his own hands. In other words, kung merong problema, kung meron man talaga totoong complaint na ganun, kailangan i-file yun sa husgado at kailangan magkaroon ng trial kung totoo ba yun yung nangyari o hindi. Hindi yung tatakot-takutin niya na nasasaksakin ng kutsilyo. Di ba? Very consistent, no? Very consistent yung nangyayari na yung mga Duterte, dinalagay yung batas sa sarili nilang kamay at ang gagawin is
Literally,
walang
no? Medyo
korte-korte, papatay.
literally nasa kamay nila yung batas.
Oo.
Medyo.
But Oo, tapos sasaksakin, 'di ba? Tatakutin, 'di ba? Hindi naman ganoon eh. I mean, that is not the kind of country that was envisioned by the founders of this republic, 'di ba? And that is not the kind of the country that we've agreed to be as a Filipino nation in our 1987 Constitution. Ang sabi natin, lagi dapat tayo may due process. Ang sabi natin, hindi tayo governed by men, but by laws. Ang sabi natin na pagka meron tayong mga akusasyon at kung ano man na nangyari, dalhin yan sa husgado. Hindi shortcut at hindi violence ang sagot, no? So kahit na doon sa reasoning ni Banat Bay, I don't think that is sufficient justification to place law into your own hands and to use violence at that. Because even the law does not permit the use of violence post facto. Hindi ba? Hindi pwedeng dahil may nasumbong sa'yo, kahit nasa husgado yan, hindi pwedeng asistensya, sasaksakin ka o tatakutin ka ng saksak, di ba? Even the law does not condone the use of violence, no? So, medyo yung tinatry nila, hindi ako naniniwala to begin with sa reasoning ni Banat Bay. Very clear na ito yung mga afterthought at gumawa na sila ng script. Pero assuming na yung script nila ay totoo, it still does not justify the actions of Pulong, somebody who is a member of the House of Representatives. In fact, kailangan, bukod dun sa kaso, kailangan rin imbestigahan ng House of Representatives yan, no? Kung sakaling manalo pa siya, although iba na yata yung tinatakbo niya, di ba? Ano ba tinatakbo ni Pulong? Ayoko na kasi maging updated dyan sa
Hindi,
local politics
congressman
siya,
yun,
Vice Me.
si
Hmm.
Migs Nograles ang kalaban niya. So actually, that race is relatively close. I just showed the internal numbers by some of the campaigns there, and there's expectation that the race might get a bit closer. Now, I don't know if it's sufficient to turn this around, but if there's one race na pwede matalo mga Dutertes, it's the Pulong Migs Nograles one. So that's
Sana naman,
why,
no?
no, so that's why, to be fair, I don't know how, is that even a fair word to be say, to be fair? Ang timing kasi ang ini-issue ng Duterte side, di ba? Na parang February nangyari to, bakit nyo nilalabas 2 weeks before the election day? Or actually even less than 2 weeks. So bakit yung timing? Although part of me saying, in fairness, matapang yung tao na sumumbong, at saka yung nag-release ng CCTV. I mean, let's be honest, I think we all know what's going on, right? So I don't know, like, so ang issue nila is yung timing niya was politically motivated. Why release it now when this happened in February or something like that?
Yung mga, alam mo yung sa timing out of, sa akin, alam mo, whatever the timing would be, ako, I would argue, this is the perfect timing to release this. Di ba? Kasi nga, sabi mo, iwan na sa taong bayan. This is the perfect timing to release this. No? Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na parang, yung timing. Sa akin, regardless of the timing, sagutin mo yung tama o mali at merito noong mga pinagagawa mo. Pangalawa, even sa timing, this is the perfect time. Kasi sabi mo nga, sa rason mo, it should be left to the people of Davao, no? Pero yung pangatlo, siguro naman, and I appeal to our brethren from Davao, no, to at least open your minds and take a look at whether this is the kind of leader that we have, that you want, di ba? I would presume that there are really a lot of better individuals, better kind of leaders sa Davao, at hindi pwede yung ganyan yung kinukondena natin na ay may kutsilyong hawak, lagi raw pumapasok ng lasing. Yun ang sabi, di ba? Ng mga tao halos
Ano? Yep.
hindi na makita. Tapos yan nga, violence ang sagot. Tapos ang akusasyon is kumukuha ng babae para sa bodyguard niya, para sa ano niya, sa ano ba, sa security niya, tsaka sa kadiri no. And I think assuming na even paniwalaan yung sinasabi ni Polong na iwanan na sa people of Davao, Davao should take a look at these accusations in a level-headed manner. In other words, hindi pwedeng, Duterte pa rin ang tigas, di ba? Siguro kahit anong mangyari, kahit na gaano tayo kaloyal, kahit na sino pa yan, is ako ang lagi kong philosophy is a person should always have has to have the continuing qualification to earn my vote. In other words, kunyari I supported a presidential candidate in the past, I would not hesitate to withdraw my support kung wala na siya ng continuing qualification to earn my vote. Sana
Performance
ganun
based.
din, no? Yung
Yeah.
people na performance-based, principles-based, at tingnan natin kung yan, yung gravity of the accusations here, ha? Yung ganyang abuse of power, abuse of
So hindi
office.
na
Uh,
maombudsman or Sandigan Bayan potentially. I mean, like, kasi we're talking about the public official here, right? A member of the House of Representatives. We're not talking about just like any public figure or celebrity, right? So what about in terms of legal recourse, considering ito ay public official, sitting public official?
Well, regardless, kailangan makasuhan 'yan para sa akin, 'di ba? Parang tinan mo to ha, sinampal ni Sara Duterte yung sheriff. Inayos sila dun sa sheriff, hindi na inayos. Pero pag ibang tao 'yan, ipopursue naman 'yan ng 'di ba, ng administrative agencies and even by our investigative agencies. Dapat na-disbar si Sara Duterte kasi ang sinampal niya doon officer of the court. Pero walang nangyaring kahit na anong parusa doon sa instance nung sa sheriff, 'di ba? Being attacking so an officer of the court, attacking another officer of the court who's just enforcing a court order is really unjustifiable for us legal profession. Pero ano nangyari? Wala. So feeling nila above the law sila. Hinampas ng cellphone yung pulis ni ano pangalan nitong second wife
Let,
ni
Anilet,
Hanilet, yung
yeah.
police,
Oh
di ba?
yeah,
Ang
laki
laki-laki
ng
ng
bukol.
bukol. Ano na namang sinabi ng kapulisan, eh hindi na raw kakasuhan, nahayaan na. Tapos ngayon na naman to kay Pulong, assuming na, let's say for example, manalo siya at ma-areglo niya na naman, o tutubang areglo, tatakutin nila yung mga private complainant, eh dapat ito i-pursue administratively, yung sa whether or not, let's say for example, sa Sandigan Bayan or the Department of Justice or the Ombudsman or sa Ethics Committee ng House of Representatives, kung ano man yung applicable na kaso, I think kasuhan dapat siya. Kasi parang paulit-ulit na pag Duterte ang apelyido mo, hindi ka matutuntun sa Pilipinas. It took the International Criminal Court to make Rodrigo, to at least hold Rodrigo Duterte accountable, or at least to make the process, to start the process. Ganun ba sa Pilipinas, no? Ito na yung nangyayari. Pag Duterte ka, above the law ka, or ikaw ang batas. Hindi, ako, I did not sign up for that republic. And last time I checked, that is not the kind of ideals that we set out as a people, no? So, ako dapat makasuhan sa lalong madaling panahon. Hindi ako agree sa desisyon ng Philippine National Police na hindi kasuhan si Hanilet. At hindi rin ako agree sa desisyon ng court at ng sheriff na iurong yung demanda kay Sara Duterte. At kahit na iurong, dapat motu proprio nag-imbestiga ang Office of the Bar Confidant, ang Supreme Court. Ganyan rin dapat ang gawin ng Philippine National Police, at ganyan rin dapat ang gawin ng Department of Justice or ng Ombudsman in this particular instance, or even the House of Representatives once they convene after the elections, assuming na manalo ito si Pulong, no?
Um, Except we have this reality of warlordism in all corners of the country, right? Bago tayo mag-cancel, I mean, we know even in our regions of the country are like, it's not necessarily. So you have the law and the constitution and the aspiration of the state, and then you have this raw texture of reality on the ground of warlordism and violence on all sides, across the political spectrum, unfortunately, and across different geographies in the country. Ang difference lang kasi with the Dutertes, it became a national reality, di ba? In fact, it became a normalized, nationalized SOP, right? Parang nag-glorify pa nga eh. Like, it's one thing to tolerate it dahil unfortunately, ganito, ganyan. It's another thing na parang, di, tama lang. Alam mo, I thought it was a joke, but apparently, just when I thought, baka joke na naman yun, there were people that saying, sir, kaya nga gusto namin sila kasi may action eh. Ayaw namin yung purong salita lang. Like, I thought it was a joke. And then nag-respond ako. Tapos, nyamit na ito. Tapos talaga naiwala talaga sila. Like, this cult of action. I think, the Umberto Eco, the Italian philosopher, called it Eurofascism or proto-fascism. This idea na basta ma-action, may gagawin. Yun ang gusto ng tao. As a legal professional, brother, as someone who cares about the Philippines and our democracy, how worried are you that not only in the case of Duterte, but this is really normalizing violence by people of influence and power in ways that we were hoping the ICC situation would kind of dampen, di ba? Parang the whole point of the ICC is to remind na may mananagutan kayo dyan, but here we are again. A strong constituency supporting this. Is it also maybe a climate of fear? I mean, sometimes I want to be fair dun sa mga kababayan natin sa ibang lugar. I mean, if you watch that video, parang nakakatakot kalabanin talaga itong mga tao na to eh. Magdadalawang isip ka talaga. So, kaya nga tahimik daw yung mga ibang syudad dyan dahil kung ganyan pa naman ang babanggain mo, tahimik ka talaga, literally, di ba? I don't know, what is your read philosophically and also, politically speaking?
Well, ang sabi lagi ko naririnig, na kaya halatang, sorry third world. Yun yung lagi ko narinig, third world ng Pilipinas is because our institutions are not strong. Kumbaga, hindi yan mangyayari sa mga countries na progressive and may strong institutions. Yung kumbaga na, basta may aksyon. Kahit na walang batas-batas, kahit na walang institusyon. If that's gonna be the case, then ganito talaga yung bansa natin, di ba? Mag-aantay tayo sa next dictator, sa next despot, or sa next savior natin, di ba? Eh, hindi kasi ganun yung mentality, di ba? When you're building a country, you wanna make sure that you don't rely on any savior. I don't need saving. What I need are strong institutions to make sure that in case I need any help, I'd go to the institution instead of a savior, di ba? Which is usually a despot. And every single time that we rely on a despot and bibilisan niya without any due process, humihina kasi yung due process of law and our institutions. And we always rely on extra legal matters. And kung ang ganun ang mangyayari, talagang never magsistrengthen yung institution.
Maybe
So,
we need
ano ba sa
strong
atin?
leaders to build strong institutions, right? Like, to be fair, when I was in Davao, I saw the attraction of the Dutertes, at least to some people who have been through a lot. Kasi alam natin yung, situation in the south of the country, unfortunate, yung war sa Mindanao, among others. I understand that. And of course, in Davao, in the 70s and 80s, pag makita mo yung police nila, yung mga facilities nila, I've been dun sa yung center headquarters nila ng CCTV and all. Like, in theory, right? You would say this is something any modern city needs. And in fairness, right, that's good. I mean, ibang usapin na paano ginagamit ng mga Duterte sa itong mga equipments na yan. But in theory, I like a leader who invests in police institutions, who invests in any kind of institution para maayos yung syudad, di ba? Not to weaponize those institutions, right? Or just see those institutions as an extension of your personal power. So I think yung kulang sa atin is we make a distinction between institutions as impersonal entities on their own and then this strong leader. When in fact, I think what we really need is something exactly in the middle, someone who has the gravitas. Like, good example is si Vico Soto, right, in Pasig. He's building institutions right and left, whether it's the healthcare system, education system, whether it's the anti-SOP and corruption mechanisms in the city hall. He's literally building a new city hall complex. That for me is a strong leader, except a leader who's not personalizing it and establishing a kind of a trapo personalized system, but someone who's going to build something that will outlast him once he's done with his
Mm.
third year in office by
Yeah.
2020. Yun yung parang feel ko, dyan tayo nakakulang. Kasi whenever we criticize strongman, ang sasabihin sa atin, o sa anong gusto niyo, yung mga palpak na institution natin. So it's not like Duterte came out of nowhere, right? He came out of decades of grievance and resentment against our failed judicial institution. So I don't know. I mean, I raised this with Justice Carvey too.
Yeah.
Kailangan natin i-admit nag-fail kasing institutions natin, kaya nga desperado yung mga tao natin. But chicken and egg, di ba? If you also invest in strongmen, you'll never get a strong institution. So
Correct.
how do you break that deadlock? Yun yung issue, di ba?
Yung sa strong institutions kasi, we've never invested in our institutions. So, wag sabihin ng kahit na sinong tao na parang ano gusto nyo, institutions natin na pinagtuunan ko naman ng pansin. Ha? Nasaan ang datos mo na pagtuunan ng pansin ng ating justice system? In fact, for how many years, siguro in the last 30 years, more than, even after the 1987 Constitution, hindi tumaas ang budget ng judiciary by more than 2%, if I'm not mistaken. In the last 3 years, walang 1% ang budget ng judiciary, di ba? Tapos ang baba rin ang ina-allocate even for the Department of Justice. In other words, walang makakapagsabi na anong gusto mo yung institution natin na pinagbigyan ko naman dati pero hindi nag-work. Never natin napagbigyan ng institutions natin ng pansin, lalong-lalo na yung justice system, yung ating legal system. Wala, masyadong maliit ang ating nilalagay dyan. Why? Because nga masyado tayo attracted sa strongmen. And ang gusto natin, willpower, yung mga taong yan, di ba? I think there has to be, hindi ko naman sinasabi na walang room for very strong leaders. Ang sinasabi ko, yung tinatawag nating strong men na walang rule of law sa kanila, basta they get things done. Hindi. I think it has to be the balance of somebody who has the political will without compromising the rule of law and going through the institutions and making sure that things happen through the institutions and by following the law, di ba? Yun yung totoong may strong yung totoong may strong will, hindi yung everything is shortcut and convenient. Now, I
Para-para.
question, oo, bara-bara shoving it down your throat. I question kung sila talaga ba yung yung malalakas yung will, no? And even the Davao infrastructure, for example, yung sinasabi natin may infrastructure yung Davao ng peace and order, di ba? Hindi rin naman nakapag-generate ng result si Rodrigo Duterte. Tandaan natin sa official data when he was elected, when he was mayor of Davao City prior to being elected as president, Davao was #1 in murder, #2 in rape, #3 in robbery, and #4 in theft nationwide. In all cities, talong
Dinoktor
Caloocan,
pa yung data
Mondragon.
daw. Sabi nila like once dumaan yung pumasok yung ibang PNP officials from the outside. I was asking also Yusek
Doktor na yun.
na actually dinidoktor pa yung mga data doon. In fact, a lot of their claims are kaya nga nahihirapan daw magkaroon ng investigation doon sa mga yung original DDS and events is parang wala ka naman data eh. Like, so you cannot even have the phase 1 of investigation on alleged
Correct.
case. So, kumbaga, if budol is one way of putting it. Ako, yeah, I absolutely agree with you with that. Ako, ang basa ko ganito for me, Davao would have been as prosperous or even way more without the Dutertes. Like, so first of all, yung logic na you need Davao, otherwise it's chaos, I don't think it works. Like, Davao is so beautiful, it's so rich, resource rich, so highly educated, so well positioned. Feeling ko kahit sino lagay mo dyan, Davao will be very prosperous. But
On
you're
the
right,
contrary, I think Davao
will be even way, way, way more.
way better. In fact, na-halt yung development nila as a people. I think by the Dutertes, yung nananakaw na confidential funds na worth billions. Di ba? Yung infrastructure, even yung 911 infrastructure ng Davao was not brought about by the Dutertes. It was a project by a private sector, di ba? And then, in-adopt na lang ng Davao City. Pero ang nag-initiate nun, private sector, yung ano yata nila, yung local energy company nila, if my memory serves me right. Tapos, sinabi, kinuha na lang ng, ng local government. In other words, yung nag-i-initiate ng mga great projects na ito, not necessarily the Dutertes alone. And the Dutertes do not have the monopoly of knowledge and leadership, di ba? I think a lot of the Davaoenos can potentially do better even without the Dutertes controlling power. Eh ngayon, natatakot labanan ng mga maraming tao yung mga Duterte kasi masyado silang makapangyarihan or 'di ba masyadong grabe yung pag-abuse nila ng power kaya ganyan tatakutin ka 'di ba? Sasamparin yung sheriff o tututukan ka ng kutsilyo, hahampasin ka. Grabe tong Duterte family 'di ba? Ay medyo kadiri na lahat sila violent. Violent yung tatay, libo-libo ang pinatay, tens of thousands, di ba? Kahit anong sabihin nila, totoo yan. Alam natin lahat yan. Tens of thousands ang namatay under the Duterte administration at lagi sinasabi, kill, 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 patayin sila. I'd be happy to slaughter them. Barilin yan, barilin yung ari ng babae. Di ba kung ano-ano mga sinasabi, kabastusan and puro pagpatay. Tapos yung hanilet, hahampasin yung pulis. Tapos yung ang panganay na anak, hahampasin yung sheriff. Tapos ito na namang isa pang anak, mag-aano ng kutsilyo. Anong klaseng pamilya tong violent family? Tapos talagang sa akin medyo kadiri na. Too much.
Just to be
Sa
clear,
akin,
just to be clear, this is not about our great folks. Baka ma-persona non grata ka rin. Just to be clear, halos lahat ng mga Davao folks na kilala ko ay napaka mabait, napaka malumanay. Whether our friends in Ateneo de Davao, whether it's the Nograleses, whether it's Justice Scarpio, he's from Davao. He's like the nicest, most gentleman
ang
guy.
dami ko rin
Just to
friends
be
na
clear,
taga
it's not a
Davao.
judgment on the great people of the. Ang hindi
Ako
namin
yung mga
maintindihan,
Duterte
bakit mga
lang.
Duterte of all people? Like,
Barbarians, as in, alam mo yung lowest of the low, na cannot, walang sophistication, cannot even, walang talino na kayang bukod sa violence, wala na. Bukod sa violence at saka pagmumura at crass, wala na. Ano pa bang kaya na parang ganyan yan? Kadiri talaga yung kutsilyo, kadiri yung kakapasin ng cellphone. Barbaro. Alam mo yun? Parang walang
well,
uncivilized.
bro, sabi naman nila, abogado naman sila. Abogado naman si Digong at saka si Sarah. Ano masasabi mo? Is that an
Hmm.
indicator of competence and intelligence?
Alam
I
mo,
don't know.
kaya
What
nga
gold
abogado
standard?
na una, nag-practice ba yung si Sara, di ba? Pangalawa, kahit nag-practice tong si Duterte, proudly sinasabi niya, nagmamanufacture siya ng evidence. At hindi niya naman napakukulong eh. Nagkaroon ba ng claim to fame na may pinakulong si Rodrigo Duterte? Hindi. Ang claim to fame niya is mag-manufacture ng evidence na inamin niya at pumatay. Sabi niya, papatayin ko. Yun lang naman eh. Yun ang claim to fame
Saka
niya. I
pasang-awa.
mean, give me
Pasang-awa
a
siya sa
celebrated
square. Proud pa siya na
Tsaka give me a
pasang-awa
celebrated
siya.
case of Rodrigo Duterte na may pinakulong siya na high profile. Wala, nada. Ang tagal na piskal na sinasabi niya. Ang laging sinasabi is nag-manufacture ng evidence, nagpapatay, yun lang eh. Pero walang celebrated case. Pero sa akin, abogadong ka man o hindi, eh wala kang karapatang gumamit ng dahas, magturok ng kutsilyo at ganyan, pumatay ng mga tao. All the more, abogado, pinag-aralan yung rule of law, tapos ganyan umasta. Ibig sabihin, medyo
Hindi nga
lalong
nag-aaral
hindi
nga.
talaga qualified.
I mean, we know that actually based on if it's a Patricia Evangelista's book, right? That's very clear. He was about to be expelled, diba? He did some crazy stuff when he was in law school. I mean, it's quite a miracle that he got away with it. And the person actually who saved him in his law school also ended up as the human rights chief in Davao. I mean, like, keeps on get. I mean, yun ang problema kay like parating may Department of Waste Management, no, to clean after after these people, right? Every time something goes wrong, ayan, hintayin natin in 3, 2, 1. Sila naman ang biktima, sila naman ang kinakawawa. May ano naman, may apology. I think yun yung problema eh, 'di ba? Marami tayong mga stage mother, marami tayong mga muchacha, marami tayong mga enablers, 'di ba? Marami mga apologists. Which makes you think, baka hindi lang mga
Maraming
Duterte
apologies,
yung
maraming ano,
ang dami, ang dami, ang dami.
kulang pa, bukod po sa maraming apologies, maraming Department of Waste Management na ganyan. I think kulang yung will na sabihin sa kanilang tama na. Marami na ngang apologies, marami na ngang enablers. Kukulang pa, kakapiraso pa yung nagsasabi na not under my watch. Not under my watch, di ba? Iba pa yun eh. And that creates a lot of courage, di ba? Eh, ang meron nga niyan dapat si Laila de Lima. Kaya nga nung nagsalita siya, alam nilang may courage siya. Alam nilang sabay-sabay niya pinakulong si Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, si Juan Ponce Enrile, si Pong Revilla, si Jinggoy Estrada, investigahan yung Iglesia ni Cristo, regardless kung tatakbo siya o hindi. And then afterwards, nung nagsalita siya dyan, alam nilang duduluhin niya hanggang walang tigil. Kaya kailangan nga siya pinakulong eh. Pero wala, what? As a people, we turned our backs, 'di ba? Turned our backs to Laila de Lima, unfortunately. And
Oh, we're
hinayaan.
not there yet. We're not there yet. I mean, we're still, but I get your first. Let's talk about that frustration shortly kasi babalikan ko yung numbers and all. May mga nakita ko na internal numbers. Just ko na naman. Actually, I'm even more frustrated sa mga katulad natin na middle class na would have expected more from, na hindi nagmo-mobilize behind the candidates you would expect them to mobilize behind. But before tayo pupunta sa party list issue, let's not forget Sara Duterte. As we speak, um, Sara Duterte, well, dun sa ICC, si Kaufman ay officially, si Kaufman ay yung abogado nila Digong na hindi si Harry Roque ay nag-push ng jurisdictional question. Hindi ko alam sino nagbabayad sa abogado na yan, but I think last time I checked, mukhang hopeless case yung mga ganyang hanash na yan. But what I found very interesting with Kaufman is that may nakita akong, I don't know, it was Attorney Carranzo posted like, apparently he's not only from the same legal firm, law firm in UK na nag-defend ng government, but he also represented Imelda daw or something like that. Like, oh wow, that's crazy. I mean, speaking of enablers, no? Like, baka kasalanan din yung mga abogado na magagaling dyan na medyo ready to help all the time. Ano bang tawag dyan?
Well, malinaw sa akin na potential conflict of interest yan if true, no? Syempre, 'di ba, yung nag-decide na i-turn over si Rodrigo Duterte sa ICC ultimately is the executive. Whether or not may explicitly sabihin nila yan o hindi na nag-cooperate lang tayo sa Interpol, the fact of the matter is na turn over siya sa ICC, and of course that was an executive decision. And then meron kasing, di ba, pagka may such kind of any potential conflict na desisyon ng presidente tapos dinefend mo pala yung pamilya ng presidente or si Imelda, although hindi naman kung si Imelda lang, sige, well and fine, pwede siguro na hindi siya direct conflict, pero meron pa rin ethical question of whether or not you should take the case, no? So yun, medyo interesting yung point ni Attorney Carranza na yun. I think there should be at least a disclosure on the part of Kaufman on whether or not that is true and whether or not meron pa rin siya dapat na wala siyang any apprehension or any limitation in terms of continuing with the case, di ba? Kasi ang rule diyan is kung may conflict kailangan kunin mo yung consent ni Imelda at ng mga Marcoses before you can represent a contrary interest, no? So ang tanong kinuha niya ba yung consent ng mga Marcoses in terms of this, assuming na well established nga yung conflict of interest. Pero sa akin, dahil nga si President Marcos na decide ultimately kailangan makuha niya yung consent, no? So that's interesting. Kailangan that there has to be an official submission that requires that would pray for Kaufman to be required to at least explain whether or not there is conflict and whether or not his previous statement na kliyente niya yung mga Marcos family is true.
Well, going back again to Sara Duterte, I just want to ask, ang dami nagtatanong kasi nito parang theoretically, would you be surprised if Sara is kasama dun sa what up to 11 ba? Sabi ni Attorney Conti. I mean, there a lot of people are saying parang it doesn't make sense na si Bato lang at saka, I don't know, Albayalde and a couple of other people. I mean, even Menardo Guevara potentially came up in some of the conversation that with some people. But Sara Duterte also pops up in a lot of conversation. In theory ba, do you think dun sa up to 11 yatang ano that Sara could be also facing ICC, and that what's at stake in this election is not only to get enough senators on her side or not on against her side, but also to make sure na hindi siya ma-ICC arrest. I mean, Bato obviously is already in that position, basically survival mode na siya. But is Sara also potentially in that situation? And what's your hunch? Because ang dami kong
Um,
conflicting na assessments now na she might not be at the principal level, but some would say, well, she was mayor of Davao City, which is one of the major cities of the country, if not the biggest city in the country, and ang dami daw cases na allegedly EJK nangyari when she was mayor. So, what is your read on that before we go to the impeachment, the election issue?
I haven't seen any piece of evidence directly linking Sarah, unfortunately. 'Di ba, yung kay Las Cañas said na gusto niyang ituloy at in fact pinagtuloy niya. So kung yun, yung batay na ebidensya, which is kung pasok doon sa year na under patay ng jurisdiction ng ICC, pasok, I think pwede. No? But other than that, wala na ako nakitang ibang piece of evidence. Pero kung star witness talaga si Las Cañas, baka pasok si Sara Duterte. Pero sa akin, mas lalong pasok ko na aresto si Rodrigo Duterte. Mas pasok si Bato de la Rosa, si Albayalde kasi sila talaga yung nagpatakbo ng war on drugs, di ba? So sila talaga yung chief implementors. So sa akin, clear na sila ang susunod, no? Nananalangin ako na sufficient sana yung kay Sara Duterte na nagdakita noong ICC na there is reasonable grounds to believe that she has been involved, no, through the testimony of Las Cañas, no. So sa akin yung kay Las Cañas, if meron pang ibang corroboratory evidence at kung pinaniniwalaan nila, if they find Las Cañas as credible, baka kasama talaga si Sara. But if not, mas mauuna para sa akin si Bato de la Rosa, mas sure ako dyan, and si Alba
Yeah, I mean,
Liande.
sure naman kay Batay, but you would say if it's Matabato and Las Cañas, these are Davao-based squads, right? Or at the heart of that squad. So Sara was the vice mayor, she was the mayor. You know what I'm saying? Like you can connect the dots there, diba?
Yeah. Pero sabi kasi nila, di ba, ang sabi nila doon is, oo, sinabi ni Sarah na ipagpapatuloy niya. Pero wala akong nakitang testimony nila na ako mismo ang pumatay kasi sinabi ni Sarah. Ang nakalagay sa testimony niya is ipagpapatuloy niya. So hindi pa ako nakakita nung mga testimony ng mga hitmen ni Sarah. Alam natin na nagpatuloy yung patayan sa ilalim ni Sara Duterte, no? But the only evidence that we have right now na meron siyang go signal is in Las Cañas. Pero as to whether siya mismo yung nagpapatay at nagpatuloy noon, wala pa ako nakikitang piece of evidence. So, yun, di ba hindi lang ako privy doon sa mga pieces of evidence na yun. No? Pero yung hinahanap ko pa as of the moment, ang nakita ko pa lang is yung testimony ng Cañas na may go signal si Sara na ipagpatuloy. Pero hindi yung may pinatay ako dahil pinag-utos ni Sara Duterte. Wala pa ako nakitang ganong testimony.
And Bongo? What about Bongo? I mean, some people are saying that I mean, Bongo is very important because he's almost 100% sure to be reelected, even more than Bato, and he's in the Pulse Asia survey, he's almost 20 points ahead from the closest. So he's clearly number one, even with the machinery of the admin. I won't be surprised if Bongo does very well and at least top three siya, if not he tops this race. I mean, considering Bongo was the special assistant to the president while he was like the way I explained this to Western media was imagine if Stephen Miller is also a senator. And oh, by the way, he also controls trade policy. I was like Navarro and Stephen Miller being senator. Like yun yung ganong ka internal role niya. At the same time, everyone says he was always smart enough to make sure wala siyang, alam mo na, fingerprints on anything. I mean, he's a very smart guy, right? I could say in terms of like political wiseness, no?
Ang alam ko, di ba, doon sa mga testimony, including nung kay Garma, ang sinasabi is nanggagaling yung pera kay Bongo. So kung may pinag-utos na patayan, nagko-course through rin yung may some sort of money comes from Bongo, no. So at least yan yung ang alala kong testimony at ang narinig kong testimony sa ICC. So kung ganon, kasama siya sa malinaw, no. Malinaw na kasama siya doon sa nagpatupad at nag-author at nag-make sure na finance yung well-oiled machinery sa malawakang patayan, no. So ako, Bongo maybe mas malapit si Bongo, I think, kesa kay Sarah. So, Bato de la Rosa, Albayalde, and hopefully, I think Bongo, no? Makes us wonder no bakit siya number one considering all his involvement, no? Ang 'di ba ang sinasabi is yan nga Team China raw yan si Bongo. 'Di ba si Bongo daw ang naging link ng di Duterte in terms of getting funding from China to make sure that he wins and to make sure na constantly meron siyang funding,
Di
no? As
umano.
to whether
Oo, di umano.
Manchurian candidate ang tawag sa kanya. As to whether that's true
Yeah.
or not, kailangan natin pag-isipang mabuti. But definitely, never si Bongo naging contrary sa position ng China. Never niyang openly kinondemn, nananahimik yan, di ba? Meron siya konting statement doon sa, ano yun, nag-t-shirt siya doon sa basketball game, di ba? Pero hindi yan kasing aggressive when it comes to defending our interests in China. No? So kailangan natin siguro pag-isipan bakit siya na number one at saan ba kinukuha ni Bongo yung ang dami-dami niyang pera in terms of funding his campaign, no? Dati nakita mo lahat na lang makikita mo yung mukha niya kahit saan. That requires a lot of resources, no? So I think kailangan nating tingnan talaga saan nanggagaling yung makinarya sa ground at saan nanggagaling yung pera na yan, no? So a little bit more discerning dapat yung mga tao when it comes to whether or not Bongo is trustworthy. Sabi nga nila, di ba? Meron pa nga accusation or at least nakita ko doon sa Juan Luna vlog na si Bongo raw at trumaydor kay Duterte kaya raw siya nahuli.
For
Kasi
pizza.
sinabi,
Pizza
di ba?
Gate. May Pizza Gate din.
Oo. Tapos biglang
May
nagdamag-rama,
Pizza Gate din.
nag-iyak-iyak na nandun siya sa pizza, boy. Pero sa totoo lang, siya
Sorry,
naman daw
sorry
yung
daw sa
nagsabing,
pizza.
umuwi ka na. I've already sorted this out. May ganong accusations, di ba? From
Yeah.
even from the Duterte family na ang trumaydor daw is si Bongo. So even the Duterte supporters, siguro pag-isipin na lang mabuti, di ba? Even sa supporter ni Sarah, alam ko, ang totoo niyan, di ba? Kinordon sanitaire daw ni Bongo si Rodrigo Duterte kaya kahit si Sara Duterte hindi makapasok kaya if you would recall may time na nag-file si Sara ng for Vice President tapos si Duterte nag-file ng Vice President tapos sabi niya ha tuwak mo ba si Sara bakit kasi virtually hindi raw maka-access yung mga anak kay Rodrigo Duterte kaya hindi din sila okay ni Bongo so even the supporters of the Duterte siguro should be wary about what the ano ba yung loyalty ni Bongo at kung loyal ba talaga siya kay Duterte o sa China siya loyal. Pag-isipan natin mabuti talaga yan.
Well, I mean, my problem is very simple, right? I'm sure maraming may malasakit din sa kanya kasi maraming malasakit center. So, baka doon galing yung mga billboards and all. But, ang point ko is, tignan mo yung mga candidates, bro. Even yung mga opposition candidates, pink candidates, even if you can say, like, no one is running an aggressive campaign. Everyone is just being cute, right? I mean, even with Kiko, you would expect na pinaka, consistent in terms of positioning and all. Honestly, I'm yet to see anything trending by him on the ICC issue. Like I've seen food vlogs by him. I've seen the great Sharon singing with our good friends in Bangsamoro. Like I've seen, and then with Bam, of course, alam natin yung criticism sa kanya when he supposedly was dismissive na political issue lang yung impeachment. Like weirdly, yung Ronald Llamas ni Dugong, I'm talking about political affairs secretary ni Dugong, he's like Tolentino. Siya lang yung tough on the West Philippine Sea issue. But even he didn't go far enough in criticizing yung mga ibang candidates and calling them out, right? Maybe because you don't want to dig in too much because he used to be
Yung,
on the third side. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
correct.
lahat
Yung
nagpapakita sa
Tolentino
election.
I'm
No one
taking
is
it with a
doing.
grain of salt. Desperation yun.
Yeah, well, let me put no, basically you put a grain of pepper on my grain of salt, di ba? The fact na sabi ko dating Ronald Llamas ni Digong, I think that just puts things into context. I mean, bro, like honestly, I felt this Senate race was disappointingly vacuous, if I can put that. Wala, everyone's just playing cute, honestly. Like, I get the idea na no one wants toxicity, everyone wants to play safe, kurut here, kurut dyan. And for all I know, baka yung Mr. Kurut pang will do better than the non-Mr. Kuruts. But even the non-Mr. Kurut Kurut are not taking a tough stance on any issue. I mean, this was a disappointingly policy like free proof debate. I mean, like really, it was just like branding and PR and honestly, I'm really disappointed with how this race has turned out so far. So honestly, if some people don't make it, like, well, you played safe, you got what you deserve. Yung iba naman, well, I'm not surprised if in 2010, all Mang Johnny had to say, gusto ko happy ka, and Bong Revilla and Jinggoy Estrada topped the Senate race in 2010. bakit ako magsusurprise na you have Robin Hood Padilla topping the race in 2020 and then now you have the 2022 and then now you have this situation. So to be honest, like, wala, I was expecting magkakaroon ng, let's get the ball rolling, draw the line. And I'm honestly very disappointed with the candidates I expected more from. While I'm very, very impressed with how Philip Salvador is really knocking at the door here. And Bong Revilla, Will Revilla, I mean, good morning, si Ben Tulfo. I mean, you don't want to be depressed, but at the same time, like, the stakes are high, right? Because this is also about potential trial for Sara. I mean, ilang buwan na, brother? Forthwith. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng forthwith? Ibig sabihin ba ng 8 months or forever? Um, mag, Magju-June na po tayo. Yung forthwith, hindi pa rin na-translate. Speaking of Tolentino, hindi ba siya yung nagsabi na kailangan natin ng Supreme Court ruling to translate? Hindi siya ng chat GPT. So, I don't know, bro. I mean, the stakes are high. I hope people realize this. Bakit tayo humingi ng clarity, policy clarity? Because I understand people want to win. My sense is manatalo pa rin yung iba. Despite playing it safe, but whatever. I don't know, bro. How do you read this? Because the impeachment of Sara is really this is a referendum on BBM, sure, but it's also a referendum on whether Sara should, at least get a trial, right, in the Senate. That's how I read these elections. Not to
Well,
mention the West Philippine Sea aspect.
I share your disappointment, Richard, no, na I hope that there should have been, stronger criticisms, a stronger stance, stronger policy discussions, pero mas marami nga yung mga medyo cute na vlogs, cute na ano. Pero kasi alam mo, dalawang bagay. Una is, yun kasi yung proven formula, unfortunately, ng winning, di ba? Yung mga malalakas yung ano, sila yung natatalo. So, naintindihan ko rin kung
I'm
gusto
sorry,
nila manalo.
I'm sorry to cut you there, but when was the last time nanalong opposition? It's like,
Wala ka. Hindi, pero tingnan mo,
hindi
sino
ko
kayo mga
really talking
nananalo?
about
Sino
20.
yung mga nananalo? Yung mga sumayaw ng
Medyo
budots.
matagal na.
Oh, pero yung mga yung sumayaw ng budots kasi kayo mga nananalo. So nagigets ko rin yung takot nila na maging matapang kasi hindi na naman sila, dati ginawa naman nila yon or kahit pa paano mas sharp. Pero ang nananalo yung mga budots eh. Having said that though, sa akin kasi sometimes di ba mas may importante na i-deliver yung message and be stronger. And sa tama ka eh. Paano ka mananalo sa game ng sayawan? Eh, mas magaling sila sumayaw, mga artista nga mga ito. Di ba? Mas magaling sila
Cute sila.
kumanta,
I
mas
mean,
magaling sila magpa-cute, mas magaling sila magpaka-showbiz. Hindi ka naman policy maker ka. Politician ka talaga na matino. Tapos doon ka sa sphere nila makikipagsabayan. Eh talagang pagdating sa sayawan, eh magiging number 14, number 15 ka. Mauuna sila.
bro,
Di ba? So,
it takes
dapat
one
may ibang
batong
sphere.
eating isaw to get 10 times views than all of your food vlogs combined. Oh, and by the
Correct.
way, positive yung reaction kay Bato, hindi sa'yo. Ganun kasimple lang.
Correct. Correct.
I mean, I just have to
Kaya
be
nga.
brutally honest. Yeah.
So sa akin, I agree with you completely. Pero nagigets ko rin siguro yung apprehension nila, konti. Pero alam mo, para sa atin, ako, di ba, pwede ko sabihin na parang hindi ko gagawin yon, hindi natin gagawin yon. Pero sabi nga natin, madali sa ating maging meron at mag-criticize, hindi naman tayo nasa lugar nila, di ba? Na ano, siguro pag mga panahon, sana may mga new generation of leaders who will say, enough is enough, hindi ako lalaban doon sa plane ninyo ng sayawan at kantahan kasi to begin with, hindi naman ako magaling dyan. Dito tayo focus sa policy making, sa discussion on issues, on real issues, and taking a strong stand. No? Kasi kung sayawan ang usapan, hindi ako number one, number two, number three, number one. Lagi na lang akong mag-hope na enough ang aking kembot para mag-number 12 man lang. Di ba nakakasawa na yun? Di ba? Enough ang
Ako,
aking...
kailangan ko kumembot, ha? Assuming magaling ka kumembot. Ang point ko lang is, i-combine mo rin, di ba? Like, mix it up. Like, put some fun, put some feisty. Pwede naman eh. Ako purong bland and pa-cute ang I'm so
Correct,
disappointed. I'm really
correct,
disappointed with the
correct,
whole thing.
correct.
So
Tama.
honestly, like, I don't mind not being around on the election day here. Like, bahala kayo dyan. But having said that, BAM in fairness has some chance there, Kiko also. But it goes down to the tactical voting, right? If behind the scenes there's a tactical alliance we don't know about, there's the admin support, I don't know. Maybe that could make the difference. Kasi kung titignan mo from number 12 to number 21, they're separated just by a few percentage points. Philip Salvador, Mark Oleta, Amy Marcos, Camille Villar, Kiko Pangilinan, like there sino pa ba? Even mga gringo, ganun, like it's very close dun sa dulo ng walang hanggan ng top 12. So I don't know. I mean, things go down to what people decide on election day and the tactical alliances. What is your read of Ma'am Lenny endorsing Pacquiao and then Pacquiao announcing he'll have a new boxing match? Like, kung kailan ba
Alam mo,
talaga, baka naman, magbago na siya, hindi na siya mag-boxing, mag-focus na siya sa trabaho niya, sa assignment niya. Ito na naman, nag-announce na.
gusto ko lang sabihin dun sa kami sa ML merong sayaw, merong pa-cute, pero never kaming walang policy stand ha. Sa lahat ng bagay, very clear ang stand namin ha. Actually, Delilah De Lima. On all issues, wala kang issue na major na maririnig na walang kimi si Delilah De Lima. Lagi ang magre-release sa statement in all. Mahirap na kang pigilan eh. Kami, yung mga tao nga, minsan pinipigilan na siya kahit kami yung mga tao sa ML, pero sabi niya, this is the right thing to do. No? So I just like to say that. Having said that, even kay Laila, I always do not agree with all her calls. In the same manner na I don't agree with necessarily with the call of VP Lenny Robredo to
Oh, you
endorse.
disagree with that, with Pacquiao Abalos one? Oh, interesting.
Ako hindi ako nag-agree sa
Okay.
Balos and kay
Why?
Pacquiao. Several things, no? Number one, yung kay Pacquiao, just because mabait siya at mabuti siyang tao doesn't mean na magaling siyang legislator. And nakita ko lahat ng mga debate niya sa Senado. Somebody else deserves that post more. No? So sa akin yun lang, no? Mabuti siya, magtayo siguro siya ng NGO, isama siguro ni VP Lenny Robredo sa board niya sa Angat Buhay. Pero hindi ibig sabihin maging senador siya. So sa akin, mere kabaitan alone is not enough for you to qualify as a senator. I disagree with VP Lenny Robredo. Although I see why she's doing it kasi mas maganda na siya na lang manalo kumpara doon sa mga iba na nandun sa 30, 40, 15, 16. So realist rin kasi si VP Lenny. Sa akin kasi, ako kasi, while I'm realistic, when it comes to deciding kung sino magde-deserve ng vote ko at sino i-endorso ko, I don't play it na purely strategic. Feeling ko doon sa aspetong yon mas purely strategic siya as opposed to the principle thing na hindi dapat ganong level ng antas yung makikita mo sa Senado for the next 6 years. Hindi ko lang talaga kaya, Richard, na makikita ko ulit na magpo-propose siya ng boxing commission at sasabihin, alam mo ba kung ilan yung opisina sa Office of the President tapos hindi niya masagot tapos may bumubulong sa tabi niya. Hindi ko kaya talaga yun kasi I cringe. I cringe. So I really cannot take it and even
Unless,
if mabait.
that's why I say, I think Lenny had to go a step further and say, may mga darating na malalaking mga boto, malalaking desisyon sa Kongreso, sa sunang Kongreso, at sigurado ako like he will be on the right side of history. She didn't even have to mention the impeachment case or ICC issue. Like, pag ganon, at least you're openly saying it's not an endorsement of him in terms of his qualities or lack thereof. It's really about this practical consideration that numbers game ito. Diba?
Yeah.
I felt you could have said it real talk like that without coming off as real talk. You could have just couched it nicely, but there was none. Eh. And then the next thing you know, Marco Oleta was called senador suddenly, and like that created.
Yeah, hindi ko kaya yon. Hindi ko rin
What's
kaya.
going on there? Like,
Kaya nga sa akin even if I love VP Lenny, I agree with her in a lot of things. As a democratic country and dahil nga, binigyan naman tayo ng Diyos ng capability to decide on our own. Hindi naman, we don't just take it hook, line, and sinker. Ganyan din naman kasi inaas natin sa mga supporters ni Rodrigo Duterte, di ba? Na huwag nyo naman kainin lahat ng tae na sinasabi nito at lahat ng ginagawa nitong tae. Di ba? Ganun din
find a
ako
way
sa
to
akin.
manage.
Di ba? Para sa akin, kay VP Lenny, kung hindi talaga ako agree, pasensya ka na, ma'am. Alam mo yun, binigyan ako ng free will and discernment ng Diyos, di ba? Hindi ko talaga kaya. Kahit kay Pinoy noon, endorse si Mar Rojas, hindi ko talaga kaya. Hindi ko talaga iboboto si Mar Rojas kahit mahal na mahal ko si Pinoy. Ganun lang yan eh. Di ba? I mean, it is not, I'm still loyal to you, but it doesn't mean that I will abide by all the things that you said. As to whether or not gets ko yung pinanggagalingan niya, gets ko naman, Richard eh. It's just that I will not vote for Manny Pacquiao for Senate. I will support him as a board member of Angat Buhay Foundation.
Mm. Well, I
But
mean,
not as a member.
maybe some would even would have even more issues with that, but like keeping away. No, but going back to this, actually, there's a risk, like you think you're getting Pacquiao in so that you deny Camille Villar. Baka the next thing happens, actually, Bam hindi makapasok dahil nag-split yung vote. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, the next thing you know, actually,
Correct.
Pacquiao gains enough just to be close, but actually, Camille is ahead na of, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no mathematical assurance
Oh,
a
kung
stronger
number 13
Pacquiao or
si...
Abalos will prevent an Aimee or Camille not at the expense of Bam or Kiko.
Correct. Ang
Very,
madidislodge sa
very
akin, fear
tricky.
ko, is ang madislodge si Bam or si Kiko.
Or even more Bam kasi ang laki ng chance ni Bam eh. But he's still number 11 which is tricky, di ba? Which is tricky. So consider how limited the resources of the genuine opposition is, di ba? So like
Naniniwala kasi ako sa vote delivery eh, Richard. So may vote delivery, di ba? Yung number
machine,
8 to
yeah.
12. Yung 8 to 12 or 6 to 12, nasa makinarya yan eh. And ang rinig ko, di ba, kumikilos na yung administration to make sure na yung susuportahan nila ay yung lalabas dun sa vote delivery. Yun naman talaga yung
Sample
expect natin.
ballots. Yeah, malalaman natin sa sample ballots
Sa
yan.
mga sample ballots, correct. And kung nakalagay doon si Kiko at si Bam, kahit si Kiko, number 15, number 14, may chance siya makapasok eh. Pero kung si Pacquiao, pinagpipilitan mo, baka ka matanggal si Bam tsaka si
Yun ang
Kiko.
point ko eh. Baka hindi makahabol si
Hindi
Kiko.
makahabol.
Or baka hindi makapasok. Yun nga, even, kaya nga, it's really tricky eh. Like, I am an advocate of tactical voting, tactical alliance in principle, but in operational terms, I'm open to the debate. I'm open to be questioned even on that. Kaya hanggang ngayon, inisip namin, kasi I keep on looking at the latest surveys. I saw two internal surveys. The poll station just came in. So this will be the final pre-election surveys, di ba? 2 weeks before election, yun na yung huli. So lumabas
By
sa
the way,
late April
ko na
lumabas.
sabihin yung kay VP Lenny bago mo wala sa isip ko. Na yung sinabi niya, di
Ah,
ba, na parang, yung kay Marcoleta, there's more than meets the eye. Parang sabi niyo gano'n, matagal na
yung
itong
pala eh.
nangyayari, pero lumabas lang, at lumabas ito doon sa isang propagandist ng isang kandidato. Wala ring denial na nangyari,
Oh,
di ba?
wow.
Parang ito kay Polong, di ba? So sa akin, sabihin na lang na parang, did you endorse or did you not endorse, 'di ba? And if you did, edi sige, 'di ba? Sabihin mo na lang kung bakit. I think ang hunch ko is closing yung Iglesia ni Cristo votes for BAM. Pero hindi ko alam, 'di ba? Hindi ko alam or BAM and Kiko.
Well, I would
Baka.
tell that. Well, okay. Anyway, mahirap tong situation natin, pare. Wala tayong kaibigan sa lagay na to. Mga
Hindi,
galit
ako lang naman. Hunch ko lang
natin.
naman yun. I mean, kahit kilala ko sila, hindi naman ako privy sa thought process nila. Hindi ako privy sa lahat ng information nila. Di ba? Pero yun yung hunch ko. And I'm not gonna be ashamed to say it. Di ba? Na parang, yun yung tingin kong hunch ko. Di ba? Kaya nga naintindihan ko. I just don't say, I just wanna explicitly say, I don't agree with the
Yeah.
decision. I don't. And but call me fluffy, call me too idealistic, call me somebody who does not understand politics maybe as they do. But,
Well,
and
I
call
don't
me
know.
for
You
those
can
things.
say, well, last time I checked, kailan ulit nanalo ang opposition?
Kaya nga. Kaya nga.
Like, medyo, I'm not sure we're in the field whereby people can come up at basta ako. Basta ikaw ano, di ba? Like, last time I checked, 3 elections na sunod-sunod na yung genuine opposition ay, to put it mildly, struggled, right? Worst performance in 80 years in 2019. Only Risa won in 2022. 2016, just, Lenny just acted out at the last moment. So, I don't know, bro. I mean, I think it's time to question strategies. I mean, because let's look at the track record. It's not as impressive as people like. Honestly, like given all the resources and support, if you had a million strong pink movement behind you, I don't know, maybe you would have done as good. Anyway, we're not here to litigate the case kasi mahaba pa naman ang elections. Actually, not really. But bago tayo magkaroon ng ano pa, mas maraming mainis sa atin, Dino. Ayan tayo, di na. Kaya nga tayo hindi ano eh. Kasi dami nang gagalit sa atin. Eto na, huli na to. Party
Mahal
list.
ko naman sila. Sana naman, I just, dapat makita nila na yung comments natin are coming from a position of care and being honest. Pero kung hindi, gano'n naman talaga, di ba? I mean, at least I'm being straightforward. At the last thing that you can tell us is nambobola kami.
Oh, no,
Ito
no,
talaga
no.
yung tingin kong reason.
I mean, as a great wit said, a good friend stabs you in the front, right? Not too much lang in the public siguro dapat. Now, let's go to the last part. Again, I know ito talaga malapit sa puso mo, but actually malapit din sa puso ko yan. So I was looking at the Pulse Asia kanina ng party list. Again, it's the same group of folks, right? You can see Duterte Youth almost at the top, and then the usual suspects. May mga group na ngayon ko lang nalaman they existed pala. Oh my God. Not looking as good as it should, right? Which raises some fundamental questions, bro. Like, ang dami kong naririnig na mga elitist na etong this whole horrible babotanta arguments against yung mga sa marginalized na kababayan natin. And yet, my question is, okay, yung mga ating magagaling na middle class and upper class, nasaan kayo? Because if only 10% of you mobilized, sigurado na at least may 1 or 2 seats ang one of the party lists that we believe are progressive. I was talking to Magda Lopipor the other month lang kasi kasama ko si dumaan ako doon sa Caloocan. campaign ni,
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, ganito, if Magdalo doesn't win any seat this time, they're gonna be dissolved, right? Like, it's an existential moment for Magdalo. For, of course, ML, your party, it's their first burst of action, so you want to make sure, di ba, you don't just, like, just fizzle out without even, getting into action. And then with Akbayan, like, maybe one seat, and that is not definitely good enough, considering that means someone like Percy, who sponsored the very first impeachment communique. I mean, this is crazy, bro. So, kaya sasabi ko, bago tayo humusga na based on false data, last time I checked, ABC ang pinaka sumuporta kay Digong noong 2016, ABC din ang pinaka nag-mobilize kay
Correct.
Sara, ABC ang pinakamababang vote kay Kiko Pangilinan. I saw the internal numbers recently. Pinakamataas ng support na is Gen Z and E, yung ating pinaka-marginalized na kababayan. So, please lang, just spare me the nonsense. For me, nasan kayo? Because if only 10% of our middle class, so our middle class is roughly 20 million, this is even a conservative estimate. If 2 million just come out, you make sure all of them get in. Chel Jokno, Leila, I mean, Teddy Bagilat, ang dami magaling. Um, and I don't know, bro. I don't see it in the numbers so far. Maybe I'm wrong. So maybe this is your chance, bro. Payanan. We have to make a clarion call, di ba? Sana before whining, don't forget a few 100,000 votes can get someone as great as Layla in, right? As great as Shell in. When I say great, just ko naman, tignan mo naman yung CV, kumpara mo naman dun sa napakalinis na CV ng mga kaibigan natin, clean slate. Di ba? Although, in fairness marami palang actor award. May nagalit sa akin. Bakit mo ginaganon si Philip Salvador at saka si Willie? Si Philip Salvador, maraming award yan as best actor. Si Willie, wala. And then, nag-check ako, ay, oo nga, no. Pero sabi ko, ano ulit yung relevance dun sa trabaho? Ikaw, bro, sorry. Pero in fairness, marami pala siyang award, no? Yung mga masahol pa sa hayop. Ang dami pala ng movies. Jaguar. Marami siyang magagandang movie pala, hindi ko alam eh. Sorry pare, not my generation. Not yours too. But you want to say, this is the last part, but the important part, bro. What do you have to say on the party?
Well, alam ko sa akin, ang nakaka-frustrate kasi sa ating middle class, kasama tayo, no? Kasama ako dyan, kasama ikaw, no? We have not mobilized enough. And then we always say, nakakapagod na itong bansa na to, bobotante. Pero never naman yung movements natin naging strategic and by design. Deliberate and by design. Yung pala yung term na yung mas hinahanap ko. Deliberate and by design. In other words, lagi na lang na parang mga ngampanya pag nandyan na yung nandyan na yung eleksyon. Tapos, hindi pa mga ngampanya enough. Ang mga ngampanya pa rin yung same faces na mapapagod na. Pero yung everyone else, parang okay na yung buhay kasi nila eh, di ba? Okay naman sila, middle class naman sila or upper class naman sila. Tapos hindi sufficient yung paglabas. Yun yung point ko, no? And then, magrereklamo, di ba? Sa akin, if we really want change, sabi mo, kahit 10% lang, hindi lang basta lumabas eh. Sa akin, it has to be deliberate and by design as early as possible, no? So ako, and part ako dyan, no? Napagod na pagod ako noong 2022 kasi nga, late nag-decide, di ba? Si VP Lenny, unfortunately. So, binigay mo na lahat, pero 15, 16 billion lang talaga kaya immobilize, di ba? Dapat as early as that, nagising na tayo, ano na tayo, nag-mobilize na tayo, hindi na tayo nag-antay sa kanila, di ba? Ang problema sa atin, nag-antay tayong lahat kung ano na ba, wala ngang ano eh, di ba? Wala ngang postmortem na nangyari sa opposition, di ba? And wala nagpatawag na postmortem, bakit ba tayo natalo? Anong next steps natin? Wala, nada. 'Di ba? 1.5 years, 2 years na wala. Or baka hindi na ako naging privy, pero ang alam ko wala talaga naging postmortem after 2022. And then, ayun na naman, 2025, last minute na naman tayo, nag-decide, 'di ba? Medyo nakakapagod na. So sa akin, itong 2025, right after, deliberate and by design dapat yung paglabas, 'di ba? As early as right after the elections. Before 2028, no, and hindi pwedeng sabihin nila ang bobobo ng mga Pilipino, wala nang pag-asa ito. Talaga walang pag-asa. Alam mo yan, ano yan eh, self-fulfilling prophecy yan kung hindi ka magbo-mobilize, di ba? At mag-aantay ka na lang, kahit ano gawin mo, ikaw yung biktima, tayo yung biktima as middle class. So my suggestion is come out already, and it has to be deliberate and by design, and hindi pwedeng ang hilig pa ng mga ng mga kakampi natin na ang hilig magtampo kaagad, mabilis magtampo, hindi lang mapagbigyan nag-disagree lang siya, biglang hindi na sasama doon sa movement, tapos kayo na lang yan. Eh, wala pala eh. Di ba? Hindi. Di ba? For us
Medyo
to sustain the
immature.
movement, sometimes we have to disagree with each other. Sometimes our suggestions will not be heeded. Sometimes hindi tayo, hindi, yung gusto natin hindi masusunod. Pero tumuloy ka pa rin doon sa movement because there's a greater battle that we have to face and to remember. No? So hindi pwedeng madaling magtagpo at dapat deliberate and by design siya right after the elections. Pero ano mangyayari na naman dyan? Magreklamo na naman tayo 6 months down the line na parang layo pa. Ano, makakapagod na bobotante. Paulit-ulit na. Di ba? 2020, 2019, talo tayo. 2022, talo tayo. 2025, sana naman hindi. Mukha naman may
Talo
mga
sa lahat
makakapasok.
ng socioeconomic
But
classes.
we
Again,
ought to
just to
do
be
better
clear.
for...
Yeah, talo sa lahat ng socioeconomic classes. I think people have to just first of all get rid of the I mean, if sa tingin nyo na supposedly tayo mga edukado ay supposedly ganyan, edi mag-mobilize kayo. Pakitang gilas, di ba? I mean, as I said, even if 10% of our ABC, which is already roughly 5 to 10% of our entire population, demobilize, meron ka ng mitochondria eh. Meron ka ng locomotive for something. Ako, nagpa-pre-mortem na ako pare. Hindi ko na hintayin yung election, honestly. Naka-ready na yung analysis ko eh. I mean, I already have to write journal articles on this. So, sorry na lang guys kung medyo I'm forward deploying my analysis as early as now. But I'm looking at the trend lines. This is based on 6 months of extensive analysis of data, 10 different surveys, including 5 or 6 internal surveys na hindi nakikita ng public, but I get it from different campaign groups. I don't know, bro. And then I'm looking at the anong nagka-trending, anong mga issues. For me, bro, of course, the real battle is still 2028. All we're hoping is at least some of the good few guys get in because, di ba, ang issue dito, di ba? If you don't get in a few good men or good women, in this case, even more, di ba? The Trapos will cut a deal with the DDS and then it's game over, right? Kasi the Trapos are gonna play safe also, di ba? They're not gonna go against DDS.
Yeah.
And to be honest with BBM, medyo nakakulangan ako sa kanya. I think he started very strong doon sa lawak speech niya and all. Balita ko nga si Pacquiao lang nag-attend sa kanyang sorties, yung pa yung bumaksakan numbers. So, even si Buduts daw ayaw na sumama kasi ayun na magbudot sa message. Anyway, um, crazy times. But nevertheless, for me, even if one or two really good women and men make it to the next Senate and good positions, they might, together with Risa, form at least that kind of a springboard, no? For action and all. Otherwise, kung mga usual trapo lang, kaya nga, I don't buy this argument, oh, mananalong 8 from Allianza, ganun. Like, yeah, but dun sa 8 na alyansa na yan, ilan ba dyan ang talagang, willing to go against Duterte's and hindi lang nandyan for convenience? I mean, seriously, may Cayetano doon. Seriously, man. Like, I mean, come on, who are we fooling here, right? Let's be honest about this. So, I'm just hoping, come election day, siguro, yung iba dyan, nag-iisip na mabuti, kung may tactical alliance dyan, because if you get a Kiko Pangilinan through, most likely he will vote similar to Riza Ontiveros than vote to a, I'm saying, to a Trapo, or worse to a bato, right? So it's important to get those people through. So I don't buy this thing. Oh, 8 na naman manalo ang alyansa, so it's gonna be usual elections. I don't think so, bro. I don't. Ikaw, what is your what should come out of like ganito na lang? What are the scenarios you're looking at here, bro? And what gives you hope and what gives you jitters? Yun na lang. Medyo prospective analysis na tayo because this is basically gonna be for the final stretch of elections analysis din natin. Ganun na lang, prospective. Hindi pa tapos ang laban, pero
Ah, 8 yung mananalo. Mga 8 yung mananalo sa Alyansa. Makakapasok definitely si Bongo tsaka si Bato de la Rosa. Hopefully, not more than that. And ako, ang best case ko, idealistic, pero ayoko na mag-entertain ng iba. Makakapasok si Kiko tsaka si Bam. Tapos 8 Alyansa. And then, Bato de la Rosa and Bongo. That's what I'm praying for. And that's what I'm fighting for at this point in time. But your blog will heal it, will hear it first, no? And siguro, sana kung maraming nanonood, I hope na right after the 2025 elections, we mobilize. If you have ideas, message us, 'di ba? Kung ano sakali. But as early as now, I'm already saying na I'm thinking of what should be done for 2028. Your vlog hears it first, 'di ba? Wala pa ako iba sinasabihan na ibang vlog or ibang interviews. But yeah, dapat as early as after these elections, pag-isipan na natin, what do we do for 2028? Where do we go? 'Di ba? And how do we move forward, 'di ba? And what should be our involvement? Kasi Richard, 'di ba? Ang lagi sinasabi rin naman sa atin is ang dami nating comments, hindi niyo naman naintindihan kasi wala naman kayo dun sa ring, 'di ba? Hanggang saan? Hanggang ano yung extent ng pagko-comment natin at ano yung pag-extent ng talagang kasali tayo sa pagmomobilize. Or, 'di ba, even candidacy has to be contemplated as well. Kung sinasabi natin na nakakasawa na yung mga even yung mga kaibigan natin sa parehong hanay, siguro kailangan rin natin mag-step up, 'di ba? So all of those things must be contemplated not just by us, but people na nasa edad natin kasi ang onti rin ng nasa edad natin na nandoon na putting themselves there. But
Tumatanda na rin.
ultimately, tumatanda na rin tayo.
Tumatanda na rin.
But ultimately, it has to be our generation.
Naging emotional. I
Nakukulangan
don't,
ako sa mga kahenerasyon natin na involved, no?
no, no, na emotional ako kasi remember that term by Hemingway, the
Yan.
lost
So, yun. So,
generation, diba? We don't want to be the lost generation, bro.
hmm,
Kaya let's hope for
yeah.
Camille Villar.
So, kailangan, maisip na natin.
So, kaya let's
Kaya
hope
kailangan
for
maisip na natin
Camille
talaga.
Villar to represent us mga
Oh.
matatandang millennials. Ako, I'm looking at a 7-3-2 scenario. That would be quite very scary scenario, like 7 Alianza, 3 DDS. That assumes Philip
Sino yung DDS
Salvador.
mo?
Bongo Bato, Philip Salvador,
Philip?
and then dalawang independents, Ben Tulfo and potentially Willie. Right? That's like the scenario na medyo mapaakyat tayo talaga ng tataas yung isang kilay ko pero yung isang kilay ko para as if naman. But there's another scenario where I can see na 7-2-2. That's the best case scenario, right? 7 Alianza, Bongo Bato, dalawa, and then Bam and Kiko. If indeed there's a tactical alliance behind the scenes and Kiko was able to, let's just say, square the circle based on how things I'm putting things together, right? Like Kiko gets the last minute boost and then Bam did enough of, let's just call it synthesis. Then you have a 7-2-2 scenario. I think that's the best case scenario realistically. 7-2-2. 7 Alianza, but again, how likely it is, mahirap yun, di ba? Or actually, it's gonna be like 6-1-2-2, sorry. So Ben Tulfo pala is independent. So it's gonna be
6-1-2. 6-1-2.
6-1-2-2. That's the most realistic best case scenario, right? But again, it's not the most likely, unfortunately. As I said, the nightmare scenario is like, whoa, 7-3-2, right? Two independents, Willie, Ben, and then Philip will eke it out last minute and etc. But you can also see a scenario that gets even more interesting that hindi lang makapasok si Camille. Who knows? Maybe Aimee. Okay, if you don't agree with Lenny's endorsement of Pacquiao, do you agree with Sarah's endorsement of Aimee? Because that was like, ano makukuha ni Sarah dyan? Kasi, of course, I mean, my point is, Aimee regardless would defend Sarah. Alam naman natin, di ba? Like, ano yung added value nun when, I know Aimee has everything to gain in theory, but as you said, maraming Duterte rin na hindi supportive kay Sarah. Or definitely hindi supportive ng Aimee. Like, what do you think? You think that endorsement was even worse?
Ano bang ano natin ng judgment call kay Sara Duterte? Dapat ka pati supporters siya magdalawang isip. Natandaan nyo, this is the same Sara Duterte who supported Bongbong Marcos, who sent your beloved Rodrigo Duterte to The Hague and is now, di ba? Sinuport niya na yung si Bongbong Marcos. Tapos ngayon, magpapabudol na naman kayo twice sa Marcos. Actually, thrice na. Actually, 4 times na. Nakabalik na naman sila sa kapangyarihan afterwards. Nabudol na kayo ng martial law at saka yung mga angkan ninyo. Tapos nakabalik sila sa kapangyarihan, tapos nagpresidente siya, tapos gagawin mo na namang senador.
Uy,
Ay,
ganyan
naku,
din
ano
tayo,
yun?
Solid North.
So, nga magpabudol kayo
Tayo
sa
nga
mga Marcos
consistent.
paulit-ulit. Sige, sige. Lalo na ako, I've never voted for the Marcoses, di ba? I've
Kidding.
never.
How
I
about
probably
RP?
will never. Di ba? I probably will never vote for any Marcos. At least ako, masasabi ko hindi ko, kahit na Ilocano ko, di ba? But solid na Ilocano, nanay at tatay ko Ilocano, warlord blood. I've never voted for any for
Cousin of
any Marcoses.
cousin of
Cousin of
Ping
Pili.
Duterte soon. Cousin of Ping Duterte soon,
Never voted
bro.
for the Marcoses. Pero
May ako
sila,
dyan.
papauto pa ba yung mga Duterte supporters at iboboto pa ulit si Marcos, si Ivy Marcos, another Marcos? Sige, paniwalaan nyo absolutely 100% yung wisdom ni Sara Duterte. And come on, let's say, vote for Ivy. Tapos, pagdating sa impeachment, sasabihin niya, blood is thicker than water. And then, boboto siya bigla na ipa-i-impeach si Sara. Tingnan natin, yan na naman mangyayari sa iyo. Pusta. Di ba? Pusta, tingin ninyo, sabi natin, sabi mo kanina, Richard, kahit ano mangyari, didepensahan niya. Sigurado ba kayong hindi yan part ng show? Sigurado ba kayong trustworthy si Ivy Marcos? Never. I will never trust Ivy Marcos. Never. 'Di ba? Kung kahit kaya kung tingin ninyo, sure na dahil in-endorse siya ni Sara at sure na naboboto siya sa impeachment, kapatid niya pa rin si BBM. At syempre, tinatakot ni Sara na ibabato ang remains ni Ferdinand Marcos Sr. sa West Philippine Sea, tatay niya pa rin yon. So tingin
Okay ka
niyo?
lang doon, nagaganyan yung tatay. Sabi nga Ronald, pag ako, ginanong tatay ko, AK-47 ko na yan.
Kaya nga, so sige, sige, iboto nyo. Iboto nyo si IB, mga ka-DDS. Iboto nyo si IB para tignan natin in the last minute kung tatay doon rin na naman kayo, nasa Marcoses ang huling halakak.
Basta to close this conversation, tama yung sinabi ni Adobo Rice, si Camille pala ang magbubuhat ng bandera natin mga matatandang millennial. Totoo po yan. So, basta yun na lang saving grace na lang natin na magkaroon ng millennial for the first time sa Senado. And
Yes,
hopefully,
tapos
it's the
ayusin niyo yung
beginning.
prime water.
Ang dami nilang kailangan ayusin, pare. Pero dami pang bakante dyan. Ha? Tingnan ko nga yung bagong Senate building, may bakante din na lupa doon na malapit. Ingat na lang kayo dyan. Ingat na lang kayo dyan. Maraming salamat, Kapsat. My future, no, no, future cousin of, ano. So,
Cousin-in-law.
baka naman, may extra kayong invite dyan sa wedding, di ba? Baka naman, wait.
I will gladly welcome her to the family.
Yeah, wake and bake. Let's go. Para sa bayan. All right, on that note, thank you, brother, and talk to you soon. God bless. Ingat ka, brother, ha?
Bye-bye. See you soon,
Magpakabait
Richard.
na tayo.
Bye-bye.
Magpakabait na tayo. God bless.